20XX is, if I want to put it in one sentence, it's Mega Man meets procedural roguelites. But to be fair, if I was to just say that it's just Mega Man but with an extra mechanic or novelty on top of it, it would do the game quite a bit of a disservice, because even though it may get your attention as that a game that looks like it's very much taking on the sort of Mega Man love, and you can tell that the developers really do care for the Mega Man series. I feel like they've done a lot more than just create an homage to the Capcom greats of yore. Instead, 20XX takes some of the gameplay styles of that and puts it in this very visually stunning, smooth, impressive roguelike game with sort of with aspects that you sort of can bring with you. So it's not just a simple fact of you die and you take everything and you're gone. You pick up these chips as you go, and these chips are then used to either buy permanent upgrades which will help your health, your energy or stats. You can also equip certain items that is for the next run, so you can sort of pay that little bit to sort of get an extra bonus, but it's only for that run. And there's so much more to it. Each level, like I said, the first level is always just in similar style, but every level after that, it changes up. You always have the option to change between what type of level you want. So if you're on a run where you are maybe not the best on the ground, you may not want to go for, say, the ice level. Or if you have a jetpack, you might not worry going through like the factory type level or anything like that. You sort of can tune your run based on your build, and there is a ton of different builds to go with. So you start off with the simple shooter, but if you go off the beaten track, you will find weapon upgrades. You will find, on top of your basic attack, you do have a dash. You also do have up to eventually 3 special attacks, which uses energy to utilize, and that adds so much to the game. These can be something as simple as rockets to sort of special attacks or anything like that, and there's a huge range of stuff to unlock and use that really mixes things up from run to run. But some of the most surprisingly fun things actually in the game is every level ends with a boss battle, and every single boss battle I play, like I remember Rolster Beta, I think his name is, still this robotic hamster in a big like ball wheel with spikes sticking out of it, and there's so many really fun and inventive bosses to face along the way, and I found it very, very hard to put down. This is a game that definitely stands on its own as something so much more than what it sort of inspires to be, or at least inspired from. I touched on it already, but the controls feel excellent, and when the game throws so much platforming at you, both easy enough, and sometimes it can get pretty damn tough, and you will need a very precise jump and sort of run to reach the further platform. But the game feels so good that you never feel like you're being screwed over. Instead, you're just sort of taking on the next challenge, and especially the more you play, you start to fly through certain levels as your health goes up real high, and and there's other aspects to it that you can go off the beaten track. You can do these challenges where you have to take out waves of enemies in a certain amount of time, and if you do that, you get a bonus. There's another one for being swift, like hitting maybe certain targets or reaching a certain goal within a certain time. And there's even things where if you beat the level within a certain amount of time, once you beat the boss, you will also get a chest which will give you more bonuses. So there's always this aspect of maybe doing a little bit of a speed run. As well as that, the enemy variety is pretty great. It mixes things up consistently. I never felt like bored facing the same enemies again, and they didn't just throw the same enemies all the time just because you're on a certain type of level or anything like that. You're always facing a bunch of different enemy types that have sort of strengths and weaknesses of range, of melee, of sort of being able to reflect your shots, and so much more. Like this is a game that doesn't show all its cards up front, and definitely has a lot underneath. Like it's so much more than just going through a run each time. You can play it on different difficulty levels. There's also things like daily runs and special challenge runs. So every time you turn on the game, there's new and more ways to play the game. They sort of create seeded challenges that sort of challenge you in a whole different way each time, and it's a game that I honestly couldn't like stop talking about. And whenever I played, I just wanted to sort of play a little bit more. And to be fair, like, I'll preface this by saying also that Mega Man isn't like the greatest game ever to me. I'm not the biggest Mega Man fan. I enjoy it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But here, I don't know if it's just that this game is the one that made me click with the genre, but it's such an enjoyable game, and there's not a lot I can really fault about it. It's just so much fun.